postures instead of wasting that energy fidgeting. Because the energy will remain, it's already created, it's already here. Right? So either you use it or you don't. And of course, it's always a good idea to channelize it in order to aid our communication. So try and be mindful of this the next time. The next time you're speaking to someone and you realize there is some fidgeting happening, either simply with the arms or maybe with a pen, it means that there is scope for redirection. There is a lot of energy. Let's use it constructively. So that's as far as the arms are concerned. And parallelly, the shoulder movements also need to be taken into consideration here. Moving down to the legs and the way it impacts posture in general. What could this say? Lack of? Okay. It's a locked? Okay, you seem to be very observant. Okay. So, what does this mean? Locked. So, what is it that the body is trying to say?
You are hiding.
Hiding, okay. We're talking of this now. Okay. Again, the psychological interpretation as far as legs are concerned, legs are meant to walk, move ahead. Locking it, not willing to move ahead. Which could, if your girlfriend does that to you, it could possibly mean she doesn't want to go ahead with the relationship. Right? Or if you're talking to somebody and the person casually does this in the midst of a conversation, maybe the person is not comfortable with something that you said and wants to stop communication at that point. The moment you shift the topic, the legs are bound to come back. Not interested and therefore not willing to move ahead. So that's the interpretation of the lock, because there is some idea which doesn't appeal to the person and therefore there's an indication, stop. Yes? Okay. You're talking of this posture. Yes. Yes. Definitely. But it's something that happens unconsciously. You wouldn't really want to stand like this because it's not a great posture. Your weight is on one leg and you'll definitely not be comfortable. So this happens only because you're not comfortable mentally, and therefore the body reflects it. Yes. So the body language while you're seated is very different from the body language while you're standing. So ideally, what should be the position of the feet when we are standing? When we're talking of a standard, comfortable body language. Attention? Vishram? Okay. Which means ideally legs should be parallel, the feet should be parallel to the shoulders, which is a very natural posture. You're not putting your weight onto one foot. The legs are balanced, the weight is balanced, and therefore the entire body language is symmetrical, more or less symmetrical. So that's always considered a balanced and open posture. How about someone who's doing this? Again? Okay. Possible. Even if the legs are not doing this. Tired. Wow, there is some extensive research happening on that front there. Okay. So this, of course, in a very social sense, this could simply mean that people are relaxed. So we don't have to be too interpretive of this. But yes, for somebody who's in a serious conversation and goes back and leans on to something, it means the person needs
Confidence.
Not confidence, needs some sort of support. Maybe when there is an argument and a person in the middle of it goes back, maybe you're fighting with your spouse at home and at some point the person goes back and leans somewhere. It's possible that the person's falling short of arguments, falling short of examples or ideas to convince you, and therefore there is a requirement of support that tends to take place. That interpretation. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is an indirect message that says, all right, go on. Okay. Right, where you're saying that, okay, I don't have much to say now, and therefore I'll stay relaxed, you finish, and then maybe I'll get back.
Perhaps a person is trying to convey
Which is definitely indicated if that leaning posture is combined with the legs locked. It certainly means that the person has at least mentally switched off. He or she may be listening or hearing you, but not really listening to you. Yes. So when that happens in a conversation, look out for everything. It could include the legs. The locking of the legs certainly mean the person switched off. If there's this happening with it, it means he or she is planning a revenge in whatever form possible. It's some sort of retaliation, some sort of answer to what you're saying, but at a later point in time, because at this point in time the person does not have the required support in whatever sense.
Same kind of thought goes in the mind when you are saying that anger. Can you think in the same manner and open gesture?
You can if you're a great liar.
That's right.
You can. How is it that thieves fail lie detector tests? It's because there is serious amount of control that goes into your body language, and the body doesn't respond the way it normally does. So yes, it's possible, but with really extensive practice. You need to be good at lying. So you had a point? Okay. Right, so moving on, that's about the general indication of posture. Coming to how body language has an association with culture. How do you think that has an impact? Right. Definitely. So the entire spectrum of social, political and the economic. Yes. Right. So if you look at the broad spectrum, the Oriental and the Occidental cultures, the East and the West, in general it's considered that the East or the Eastern cultures, which include us, it includes the Far East, Japan, China, South Asia, most of these cultures are considered ones that have a lot of what is called power distance. Power distance simply means that there is a lot of hierarchy in the society, in the community, in the workplace, and that hierarchy is meant to be respected. Whereas if you look at the Occidental, the Western culture, power distance is considered to be very low, which means hierarchy is only an administrative issue. It's not something that creates barriers between people. Which is why if you look at most American corporations, the CEO would not mind if he or she is addressed by a first name. Whereas if you look at the Indian culture, most people would go with sir or ma'am. So that's a concept of power distance, and power distance certainly has an impact on how the body language develops in a person's in a person's community. Usually cultures with high power distance, especially if you look at the Chinese and Japanese now, eye contact remains very less. If you're negotiating with a Chinese or a Japanese businessman, it's a tough time. They're always down. Simply because they would not want to reveal what's on in their minds. Because the culture is such that the power distance is so high that there is a lot of respect, and at the same time there is a lot of fear. You would not directly want to communicate with somebody who is not at the same level. And therefore, the subconscious is trained to hide eye contact. Most Chinese and Japanese businessmen, if you look at them while you're negotiating, you can stare hard at them for 10 minutes and they would not even look up at you. They will simply